Wow, could it be that simple, really? Could it? Is it?
Yes.
Is it that simple? Just put a little love in your heart? Come on, is it that simple? It is. Look, these guys are telling us it's that simple. Just put a little love, put a lot of love in your heart. How about that? Put a lot of love in your heart. You know, the Course in Miracles, which Lily and I teach a lot, says forgiveness can be defined as remembering only the loving thoughts that you gave and the ones that were given you. All else must be forgotten. That's our function here, is just forgive the world. Put a little love in your heart. Just remember the loving thoughts that were given you and those that you gave. Let that love be what you are. Forget everything else. Whatever situation that I am placed in, it's another opportunity to be the love in which I was created. It's another opportunity to find out just what I'm made of, just what's going on in there, just the real stuff. And what's going to make you happy except putting a little love in your heart, putting a lot of love in your heart. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. I'm so grateful to be here today. What better way is there to celebrate Mother's Day than by seeking a greater awareness of the presence of love in our lives? So this Sunday, we're going to acknowledge the Mother of Unity. We call her the Mother of Unity. We'll hear what she has to say about that, Myrtle Fillmore. And we'll also be looking at the presence of love that dwells in each of us, each and every one of us. So that's the one thing. How many people have a mother here? Trick question, I know, trick question. That was a hard one. Some of you didn't even raise your hand. Like, you forget how you got here or what? So it's one thing we have in common to start with, is that it takes a mother and a father to give birth, to have life. Okay, so we need a mother. Why do we call God Father? Why is there just Father? When I first came to Unity, I heard somebody say they prayed to Mother, Father, God. Mother, God. I went, wow. Oh, man, I've been only utilizing half of me. I haven't been acknowledging the feminine aspect of God, of creation. Wow, it's like opened up a whole new world and a whole new door of understanding of what God or the divine is. And I began to experience more and more mystical experiences, mostly in nature. We call Mother Earth sometimes, but I really did experience my first experiences of meditation on the beach, my first mystical experiences of the power of my mind, walking in nature, being on the beach. I didn't even teach myself how to meditate. It just happens because you're just there breathing with the universe. And that constant flow, that flow of love, that's constant. And I look at that as a mother energy, which is a constant presence of love. In my life and my human mother has been always there for me, a constant presence. You know, when you're a difficult teenager, she's still there for you. When you return home, for the 14th time, and she's still there for you. Last week I think Adam Sutton started off our thinking about our mothers because his mother recently passed into spirit, and they were very close. And they had a favorite Christmas song, Silent Night. And when she was passing, and just at that moment, when his hand slipped into hers for the last time, their favorite song came on the music system. Spirit played that song for them. That's love in action. That's Spirit in action that always knows what's going on underneath our conscious mind. The superconscious always knows. Now what we do is we will forget that constant love. And we will fill our subconscious mind with a lot of crazy thoughts and fears And doesn't the mother always comfort you and take away your fear? Isn't that one of the functions of that comforting, supporting love is to relieve you of your fear, your pressure, your conflict, your fear. Everything that I feel is bothering humankind, all the source of our conflicts is coming from that fear. We're afraid. We're afraid of each other because we have a false sense of separation. I sat here with about 60 Buddhists yesterday. Me and Patricia were the representatives of unity. And there were 5 Buddhist groups: Zen Buddhism, Thich Nhat Hanh, James Kirshner's group. There was 5 different sanghas meeting here, the Tibetan Buddhists. And one of the things that they acknowledge is that there is Buddha nature in everyone. We call it the Christ nature. We call it the Christ light. But within that is this divine feminine energy, this receptiveness. One of the things in all spiritual practice is to sit and be receptive, to allow our thinking, our subconscious mind to be filled with the superconscious, and to release all of our incredibly fearful stories of what life is and what life is doing and everything that's happening. We can let all that story go, even in the midst of the most challenging times. Actually, the most challenging times are the ones where we have to do it. And it forces us into a spiritual receptivity. What is that receptivity except the feminine, divine feminine energy? And there's a lot of power there. When we release that power, that potential. See, in unity we say we have a divine potential, right? That we all have the unlimited potential of spirit. But unless we receive it, how are we going to give it away? It's not going to happen. So, one of the things, I'm looking at cell phones. That's okay. I love the cell tones. I'm going to start a band called the Cell Tones. So if we want to remember who we are, if we want to demonstrate who we are, we have to be balanced. We have to have the feminine and the masculine flowing together. You know, you men who are all like, come on, let's do it. Let's change the... No, come on, be receptive. You know? And it's like there are so many confusions nowadays about what that means to be in your divine feminine. It doesn't mean that you're soft and weak and let people walk all over you. It means you're powerful, and you're so powerful that you're going to demonstrate the God within you. No matter what you say or do, I'm going to show you light. I'm going to show you light. I'm going to show you love. See, that's the biggest demonstration, is when you don't like what's going on or when people seem to be attacking you, you can still love them. You know, love your enemies is one of the most powerful statements that was ever made. And I believe that we forget that is a divine feminine statement. To love, no matter what. Love your enemies. Forgive them, Father, Mother, God. For they don't know what they're doing. And they don't know what they're doing because they don't know who they are. They're out of touch with their divine nature, which is both masculine and feminine in its full power. I love you guys so much because I believe that you have a true desire to bring healing to the world. And I'm speaking to the men again. We can't just think that it's the woman's job to bring healing to the world. And I'll go fix the deck. You go heal the world. I'm going to mow the lawn. I don't think so, guys. I think you've got to learn about your energies and how to express them and communicate them in the world. Yes. So let's go back to Myrtle for a minute, because you call Myrtle Fillmore the mother of unity. Now, the reason they call her that, she is really the actual founder of unity, and her husband came along later. After a lot of witnessing of Myrtle using the power of her mind to heal herself and others, her husband finally said, I think there's something to this. And besides, my real estate business isn't doing so well. I better start praying. And what's my wife doing? So that's my version. And there's a lot more truth to it than you might think. But he was still in real estate while she was learning about healing. And he came along when his necessity for healing came up. So I think as a species, our necessity for healing is about to the top right here. So isn't it time to start doing it? To start allowing the healing to happen? So Myrtle began healing herself because she had tuberculosis. They called it consumption in those days. But she had a lot of other diseases, I found out by reading some of her story. And her family, she said, was quite ill, a lot of them most of the time. And they really saw themselves in that light. And what happened was a change of mind. When she went to see New Thought speakers, and she went to see one guy, E.B. Weeks, and he said a statement that said, I am a child of God, and as such, I do not inherit sickness. And that just exploded in her mind. Well, it doesn't matter what has gone before. It doesn't matter if we've been telling ourselves that we're sick, if my family's just been telling themselves they're sickly. I am a child of God. I don't inherit sickness. This isn't something inherited. This is something that's going on now in my mind. So she changed her mind and began to talk to herself and to tell her body how perfect it was as an expression of a child of God. And began the affirmative prayer that was necessary to heal her body. And then she began praying with others. And eventually Charles joined in, and it became unity. Now, I want to say from her own words what she says about this. You call me mother of unity, but dear, I feel you are crowning me with an honor that belongs to the Holy Spirit. How do you like that? It is my great joy to perceive somewhat of the mother side of God, the divine love that never fails, and that is equal to the drawing of souls to itself. It is my prayer to be able to radiate the qualities of this divine love to all. But you too, other mother of unity. Because in your heart, you have the same ideals. You have the same generous spirit. And the endless, timeless, tireless service and the love that never fails. The mother of unity is the universal mother. And how happy are we to represent that mother? Isn't that wonderful? We're representing the universal mother, father, mother. And I believe that every spiritual teacher or leader, wherever they have failed, it's because they have accepted, their ego has accepted the praise and the acknowledgement for the outcome of the miracle rather than giving it back to the Holy Spirit. And this is why I believe unity has been so successful for over 125 years, is because it's always given the recognition back to Spirit. And therefore, it challenges me to go deeper into that experience for myself. Not that I have something to offer you, but perhaps I have something to discover myself. And we can discover that together. That's the key for me. Because otherwise we begin to set up idols of association. And every idol will fall. Every guru will fail you. Every single person you place out there in a position of power greater than yourself is going to fail you. Because you already are perfect as God created you, and you have all the power. And isn't it great to discover that for ourselves and together? You know, I love the idea of coming together because it magnifies the experience. You are so perfect and divine already. And so am I, and so is everyone. But how can I experience that if I don't first see it in you? If I see it in you, I'll experience it for myself. And so that's what my mom always did for me. You know, she always said, you know, I don't care what you do. You know, I know you're going to be successful in whatever you do. That was the first thing. So I thought, oh, great, I can do anything. I will be successful at whatever I put my hands to. But the next thing she said was the most important. She said, all I want is for you to be happy. So don't go being successful at things if it's not going to make you happy. So happiness became my goal in life. Yay! Yeah. Wow, you don't have to do anything, just be happy. Isn't that incredible? So one of the things I want to read is about this. I'm going to go back to, I'll talk more about my mom, which she doesn't want me to do. But I want to go back a little bit, back up to Myrtle Fillmore. Because she says we're all the mother of unity when we are expressing those qualities. But the one thing that she was really insistent on is that we keep expanding our experience of God and how we see God. And that's called spiritual science, that we actually make a discovery, that we actually look for God. Like, what is that? With an open mind, not telling people what it is, but trying to discover for ourselves. So in spiritual science, we are studying this science to get a broader conception of God, rather than holding to the view that he is a personal being with parts like a man and being subject to change and capable of varying moods. Right? Even the Bible said God is spirit. Doesn't say God is a man or God is a woman. God is spirit. And of course, in how we experience God as humans is going to be both divine masculine and feminine. But really, what Myrtle says is, though personal to each one of us, God is it. Neither male nor female, but principle. God is not a cold or emotionless principle like that of mathematics, but the principle of life, love, and intelligence. Principle, a guiding principle, an energy, a law of the universe, something that never changes, that's always the same, that cares for us no matter what, that's complete and total love, that cannot have varying moods, not male nor female, but all of it. Incredible. And more than I can explain in these last 2 minutes that I have. God is spirit, and those that worship or identify with God must worship or identify in spirit and in truth. See, worship means really joining. It's not really a, oh, how great thou art, although that's a great song. That's a wonderful song. But it's not really that. It's, oh, how great we art. How great it is. How wonderful is creation. How divine is this communication, this experience. Lily and I went walking on the beach. You know, yesterday was such a gorgeous day. And so after the meditation here in the morning, I went home to fix the shower, and then we went walking on the beach. And I felt so incredibly joined with each wave and each breeze and each grain of sand. that it didn't seem like something outside of me. It was impossible to keep my shoes on, and we had to take our shoes off and just get our feet in the sand and connect again to a part of us that is our mother, that is sustaining us, that's giving us life. How much of the time are we separate from that energy, from that source? And so I believe that connection back to the mother is really the key for healing humanity at this point. You know, I always say that the single cause of all of our suffering is our sense of separation from each other and from God. But when I say God, I mean Mother God as well. God being the earth as well. God being everything that is around us, that sustains us. You know, this life that we have the privilege of living includes all things, and all things are in divine order. I know that every time, you know, I drove away from my mom's house, she would be standing there at the door waving goodbye, sometimes with tears in her eyes. And she still does it. You know, when Lily and I would visit on a Sunday afternoon and we go home, she's still standing at the door. Bye, bye. And sometimes when she sees me pulling into the driveway, the tears are in her eyes again. He's coming back. Oh. I hope he has his own apartment this time. But I know, you know, it's getting to the time of her life where she's getting closer and closer to her transition into spirit. And I'm going to be the one standing at the doorway saying bye. But I know that she'll welcome me when it's my time to go on to the other side. And she'll still be there, waiting with open arms and an open heart. No matter what life has looked like, your mom's always there for you. She's always waiting for you with open arms and an open heart. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter how crazy you are. It doesn't matter if you're a crazy 2-year-old running around or a crazy teenager. Your mom's there for you. And so let the Divine Mother be there for you as well. Let that feeling. So you're all getting emotional and choked up now. But try to get a little emotional and choked up about our earth, about our Divine Mother, about all of that feminine spirit that we've taken advantage of or we've ignored. And let us now bring all that into our hearts. And as Matsuru Emoto would say to the water, he would say, "Forgive me for ignoring you. Thank you for everything you've given me. I love you, I love you, I love you. I acknowledge you as the giver of life, and everything flows through you in divine and perfect order. I know that if I just relax and let myself come home to you, all will be well." Happy Mother's Day, my friends. I love you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.